for some finer adjustments. I spent around an hour wearing the Magic Leap 1, and I almost never had to refit it or hold it in place. And the light pack is light. I clipped it into my pocket and basically forgot.
So, I'm not actually watching this on my screen right now. This is a virtual screen that I just put in front of my screen that I can resize at will in real space. This is just a web browser, Microsoft Edge, just floating around in the HoloLens, and it's just a thing that's in my room right now. So the reason I started up on this screen, though, is I wanted to illustrate a point. Now, I actually can't see the very edges of the screen through the HoloLens. You actually see a little bit more than I do. But it's right at the edge of it, and this is at my normal viewing distance from my couch. So just because things have a small field of view doesn't necessarily mean that they're not useful. Yes, I would love to have a bigger field of view, but like that's not in the cards right now, and I'm okay with that. But I wanted to show you guys kind of where things are at with the HoloLens to see where things are at with things in general. And I'm not doing this to diss the Magic Leap either. Like, I'm actually super excited that the Magic Leap is coming out and at a lower price point, because we need competition. We need this to grow. Microsoft did an amazing thing with the HoloLens. Like, people don't realize how amazing this hardware is, because most people have never seen it. But, like, the simple fact is, my room is decorated with 3D things that stay in the place that they're at. This thing tracks, like, my environment. Like, I can see down my dark hallway as it pings my rooms and stuff, because it actually maps all of this in real time. In fact, if you want to see how it maps, I can, like, move this box here. You'll see that after a moment, well, more than a moment, actually. Oh, there's gone. It's starting to figure it out. But yeah, so it's not instantaneous and stuff. This is not real-time tracking yet. Though it is, this is giving me a really bad example. Yeah. I thought this was going to go way better. I think it's probably because I'm dealing with some low light here. But yeah, so like we've got this room, we've got things floating in the air, and I can just use this like a web browser. Like this is just normal stuff here. I can just hit up the Oculus subreddit. I can pull it into more of a portrait view because why not, right? I don't have to. I'm not locked into any of this stuff. And like I've used this thing for over 1,000 hours. And I know this because I've worked with this every day for 8 hours for over a year. And when I say worked with it, like I wasn't actually working on tech for this. I've actually just literally been using it as multi-monitor because I can just, at any point, create a web browser and it just shows up. And so I can like have, you know, Microsoft Edge showing one thing. I can have Netflix in a window. I can have my other stuff. So I basically just use my laptop. And then I have like floating windows up above and around, and I use those with my fingers. And so I can just keep documentation up or keep Netflix up or whatever. And there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in this world too, and it's really easy to develop for too. This is the other thing. It's really exciting. Like I'm not a really well-known developer or anything, but even 2 years ago I've made cool stuff with this. I'm linking some other videos in the comments, but I'm just going to show you one of these things right now. So if we go... video, no, not video, all apps, and we go down to Wizard Tools. This is just my little test thing. Oh yeah, hi Reddit, I forgot to put this up there. Fun. But yeah, you can just, actually I'm not going to talk because it's loading and who knows what it'll do. Is it going to load? Yay, it's loading. That's not my image. I don't have copyright to this image or anything. This is just a test image that I put in for my loading splash screen. So this is my basic program, which doesn't do a whole lot by default. But as soon as it's figured out that we're in my room here, there we go. First off, it has a nice little distance viewer. This is just meters. So I can tell you that I'm 3 meters away from my screen. It's a 92-inch screen, so I can see almost all of it at that distance, so just that gives you an idea. Again, it's still a pretty long distance, and it is a small field of view. I'm not saying it's not, but it's amazing. So I don't have the ping in here, but I can whoops, I can do like show mesh. So this is like a mesh of the room just rendered at all times. I don't have a ping, so it kind of slows down when you're rendering a bunch of geometry in the background. But this is the same mesh that was working with before again. But I have access to this, right? So I can use, I can do dragon. I got this little dragon, and I can control him, with a controller. But I don't, whoops, remove. Alright, I don't actually have that set up, so hold on one second. Let's very quickly pull up the settings. Put that over here, on that wall, whatever. And we'll just go to devices. Alright, so I actually already did the pairing process. I apologize I didn't show it, but my recording kind of died on me. But I just want to show you that like it has just standard Bluetooth pairing concepts. So I'm going to hit Wizard Tools here. Get back into it. In troubleshooting my recording problem, I ended up restarting this thing, so it's going to have to restart the program. My apologies. Not that we had anything dramatic set up in here, but... Not that I can set up much dramatic in here anyway, but... Come on, load in. So, this is my cursor again. I'm just waiting for it to show that there's a wall there so that I don't spawn things into nothing. That's cool. Alright. Dragon. Dragon. Hide cursor. So here we have a little dragon. And he's cute. And he can just jump on stuff. Like, I can just drive him around and actually jump him around the world. Like he just stepped on my Hololens case there. You can see that he actually just can move through the world as if it's there. Oops, I accidentally turned on, what is my command for that? Show mesh, hide mesh. That'll help. Okay, that was just one of my experiments in what I could do with walls. But yeah, so we've got this cute little dragon thing, and I can just drive it around with here, and it knows where all the geometry is. I can like jump it in the air, and like I can shoot fireballs, and it will actually like hit the walls. You can see the sparks flying off as it explodes. So it's all really, like where we're already at is really cool, and this is just a thing that I threw together with stuff on like the Unity Asset Store. Again, this is not super advanced work. D20. You can also just spawn simple tools like dice, you know, D6. D6. D4. D12. D10. D10. And like these are actually showing the numbers that have come up. Well, that one was kind of on the edge there, but like you can see that's clearly a 3, that's clearly a 6. That's not so clearly an 18, but that's what the program went with. 5, that's close enough. 2, again, this is not a great surface for this. This is a kind of bumpy surface. Not that it's super accurate, but it's enough that it does matter. Let's see, I mean, you can just create characters. Cat girl. Cat girl. There's a cat girl just walking through my room, you know? And like, all this stuff just is a thing that just is at my fingertips and at my voice command and all this other stuff. And like in the future, everyone's just going to be wearing this stuff instead of a cell phone. Everyone's just going to be able to interact with other people and other people's holograms. Like people will be able to see my dragon around when I'm driving it around. And I mean, the future is just an amazing, amazing thing. I just can't get over it. I'm going to see if I can show one more thing. I tried using this command last time and it didn't work. Go. 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 Maybe Van Gogh? Art Van Gogh. Go. Okay. Oh, it worked. Finally. After all of that suffering. But yeah, so one of the things I did here, this is just a little... I unfortunately don't have it separated enough from the wall here in my placement stuff. Bear with me. Show cursor. Show cursor. Thank you. Come on, give me a click. There we go. So, what's cool is, this is actually the real size of the painting. Like, this is measured out exactly the real size of the painting. And the other thing that's cool is, I got this from this is free use public stuff, but hide cursor. Hide cursor. I got this scan. What was cool is this scan was actually 2 scans. There was the paint scan, and then there was a X-ray. And now it's not exactly perfect, but I used that to create a really cool depth map. So it actually has this like texture to it that pops out. It's not a real pop out, but you know, it's pretty cool stuff. And like, I don't know, it's hard to explain how cool it looks in here. Like, it actually looks like it has material, and it actually looks shiny, and it actually looks like it catches the light, and it has like these mountains and stuff like pop out of the painting. Probably more than they actually would in real life. Again, this is based on the X-ray, which means that some colors are going to have more metallics in them as well. So like the blues and whites are going to look thicker than some of the other colors. But overall, it gives a depth where the texture would be. And it still is, it's valid information, it's just not exactly what you would see in the real world, but but it does add so much more to it than just treating it as a flat image. Anyway, that's probably really boring to see on screen, but I hope that I hope you like this thing. I'm going to show some other videos too, yeah, if you have any questions, please ask me and I'll make some more videos or something. Thanks.